Hello, my name is Hannah Williams, and I'm a first-year Doctor of Audiology student at the University of South Dakota. I also work as a research assistant for the South Dakota EHDI program. My poster describes the process of how our state's EHDI program created a teleaudiology infrastructure for the diagnostic assessment of infants. Telepractice in general allows for patients and providers to circumvent several barriers that may impede the delivery and accessibility of healthcare services. Teleaudiology applications have been used by several states' EHDI programs to overcome these barriers. South Dakota's EHDI program was established in 2001 after our state received funding from the CDC. Additional funding was provided in 2015 by the Health Resources and Services Administration. This additional funding led to the creation of the South Dakota EHDI Collaborative, which is a partnership between the University of South Dakota, the South Dakota Department of Health, and the South Dakota School for the Deaf. As is common in many other states, South Dakota experiences high loss to follow-up rates at our 3-month and 6-month benchmarks when considering the 136 guidelines recommended by the Joint Committee on Infant Hearing. Several reasons account for these high loss to follow-up rates. One being that South Dakota has limited pediatric audiology services. There are only 6 locations in our state that can provide comprehensive services for infants and families, most of which are concentrated in the southeastern portion of our state. In addition, South Dakota is classified as a frontier state, as more than half of our counties have fewer than 6 people per square mile. And finally, South Dakota has high poverty levels when compared to the national average. In an effort to lower these high loss to follow-up rates, the South Dakota EHDI program created a teleaudiology infrastructure. From 2016 to 2017, our collaborative established 2 teleaudiology sites. Using a hub-and-spoke paradigm, synchronous methods are used to assess infants. A hub-and-spoke model allows audiologists who are located at a centralized hub site to assess patients located at distant spoke sites. The University of South Dakota Speech, Language, and Hearing Clinic, located in Vermillion, South Dakota, serves as the hub site. The first spoke site is about 180 miles from the hub location, and the second spoke site is about 260 miles away. The audiologist test battery includes video otoscopy, tympanometry, and ABR testing. Before teleaudiology appointments were scheduled, medical personnel at the spoke site locations were trained on proper procedures. The spoke site locations were then provided with equipment, including a video otoscope, ABR, OAE, and tympanometry equipment, a computer to operate hardware and software programs, and a web camera. 2 types of software programs are necessary for completing synchronous testing. The first being software that allows you remote access to the spoke site computer. Our collaborative uses TeamViewer to obtain remote access. The second software program needed is one that allows for video and audio connection between the hub and spoke sites. We have tried 2 different types of software programs, both Cisco Systems and Skype for Business. Looking at our results, testing at the teleaudiology sites began in January of 2019. As of February 2020, right before this article was published in the Journal of EHDI, a total of 9 infants had received diagnostic assessments. Since then, the COVID-19 pandemic has undoubtedly affected all of our 136 benchmarks, including the diagnostic testing benchmark and our teleaudiology program. In conclusion, the South Dakota EHDI Collaborative's program and its adoption of a hub-and-spoke model demonstrates the feasibility of using remote control software applications to complete video otoscopy, tympanometry, and ABR testing. Infants born in the western and central portions of our state can now receive testing that may have been very challenging for them to attain prior to the development of this program. Future research on teleaudiology should focus on patient satisfaction with the program and on how best to counsel families whose children have been identified as deaf or hard of hearing following a teleaudiology evaluation.